Hi guys, it's Blackie and welcome back to the channel. Okay, this afternoon I'd like to have a little discussion with you about modifying your gear to fit you. Now, in the past, our ancestors heavily modified gear to fit them and their needs. In fact, that's one of the things, is finding an original item of the old long hunters and the old woodsmen and stuff that isn't modified in some way is a hard job, you know, because usually if it was actually used and carried, it was modified to fit the user in some small way. So let's talk about that a little second, about modifying the gear, and share some stuff that have come up with me. Now, when I designed my Red Hawk Haversack, I made it where the strap could be detached, and I've talked about this many times, where it could be used as a carrying strap, as a knapsack, and all the above, right? Well, one of the things that I wanted to do with it was I wanted to make sure that it was adaptable to various situations. And one of the things was, what are my conditions right now and what am I going to be doing? So if I'm going to the field to do some sort of training, you know, I want to be able to add things to my haversack to do a job better. So for example, just dropping it on like this right quick, and you're always going to, if you've got a collar on your shirt, you're always going to roll up a strap because the collar just seems to hook it. You got this strap up here. Those of you that have read Colin Fletcher's book, which is called The Complete Walker, and is a very good book for outdoors enthusiasts, and teaches you how to organize your gear, kind of like by departments. He calls them by rooms. But I like the way he does it. And one of the things he talks about is putting some little pouch up here onto the strap to act as an office, he calls it. Because if you're one of the people like me, us old Silver Wolves, where I'm going on a hike, I'm going on this little walk around the lake or whatever, because I've got some little problems I'm trying to iron out. I'm trying to work it out in my head, you know, get my pipe, take a walk, get my walking stick, and just try to work it out. Well, as those solutions come to you, being able to write it down quickly is a big advantage. Otherwise, that blue bird of inspiration is going to buzz in one ear, go and blow out the other ear. In 5 minutes from now, you can't remember what you figured out 10 minutes ago to fix that first part. You're on the third part now, and you can't remember what the solution was for the first part. Having something that I can open up quickly right here and have a little notebook, have a pen, something like that that I could grab and therefore access, and have it up here on a strap would be a real advantage. Or maybe down here low on the strap, but having access to it was the big thing. Something like that. Also something, let's say we're doing land navigation, and we've got our little notebook. Sorry for the aircraft. We've wrote down our heading. Here's what our compass bearing is supposed to be. Here's our azimuth back, all of that stuff, and we've written all that down, and we don't want to have to put all the way down to the bottom of the haversack and dig it out every time. Being able to put it on some sort of pouch on the strap would be a real advantage, because right now I need to unzip, pull this out, check, add some, because I'm having to jog around some obstacle out here. Let's say I've walked, I'm trying to follow a straight line, but I've hit a cliff, a ditch, a sinkhole, something I can't go around easy, and I'm having to jog out. So I need to do my things and write down what I did. Being able to open it up, write those down, and put it back. So a little pouch for something like that would be real advantage. Also, sometimes, because of what we're doing, maybe I don't want to wear a knife on my belt. Being able to just attach my knife to the side of my haversack, so it just hangs there. I can go through my loop, or I could, if you had a solid strap, don't have one of mine, you could just use a soft shackle or something and hook it so that it becomes like a side unit hanging on the side of the haversack like that, so I could pull my knife out easily. And I'm not planning on using my knife a lot, and I won't be able to take my whole gear off and hang it up, you know, have my knife attached so it's not on my belt. Maybe I'm going to be sitting down a lot, and I don't want that encumbrance of it digging into my belt whenever I sit down. So that might be a way to go. So being able to attach a knife to your strap, depending on the size of the knife, may be a real advantage to you. So come up with a way to attach it when you want it that way. Likewise, if I'm going, or you're going to be going, weather is really, really good. It's going to be very pleasant tonight. It's not going to be too cold, not too hot, all of the above. The Goldilocks camping. Well, I can carry enough gear with my haversack that all I need is some sort of light covering, like, and I've showed this in my videos, I didn't bring it with me, but it's about that big, and all it is a liner for a sleeping bag that I use as a summer weight sleeping bag, because all I need down here in my heat, where the overnight lows are going to be like 70, 72, I just want a light sheet to throw over the top of me. I'm not going to be cold. But I need some sort of tarp. I already carry a hammock in my haversack. And so this is a complete tarp set, stakes, cords, everything. Now if I took this and simply attached it to the strap on the back side away from me, like that, I wouldn't notice the encumbrance of it. Now would I? All I'd have to do is just come up with 2 anchor points to anchor it like this on the back. And this would not be an encumbrance, and I could go with just a haversack, throw in a little food. I got a canteen on a hip over here type deal. That'd be all I need for a simple overnight stay with maybe 1 or 2 friends around the fire. Pretty easy. Maybe I've got something more intense a lot. Maybe I'm doing surveying, or maybe I'm doing some sort of tree discovery, you know, tree dendrology research or something. Having a pouch that would fit across the top and would just hook to 2 straps, and now it would sit on top of the haversack that I could open quickly and easily to get to my field journals, my field manuals, to see and identify this tree or identify this plant, that type of deal. Something like that would be a real quick way to modify your gear. And I don't want to permanently modify. I want just something to sit up there for what we're doing today, and when I get done, it's coming off. See, it's kind of like, remember the military field belt, and you would put in ammo pouches, butt packs, sustainment pouches, canteen, first aid pouches, depending on your needs. Well, that's the mindset. You need to be able to modify your gear for your situation, so I can add or subtract as I need. Now, supposing we're going out foraging or hunting, how about being able to slide something on the strap to carry 12 or 20 gauge on there? Got to be careful what I talk. Or suppose I had a little pouch that I could open up and would have this stuff in it for quick access. Prototype, not ready to release yet, but just letting you know. But it could go into the top, or it could go onto the strap for quick access sitting in the blind or at station, and then come off easily and go into the pouch when I'm traversing. See, so I want interchangeability, ease of access. It's along that same line. This is a small game carrier. It was made for my good friends at Lost Ways. They create this, and down in the description box, I know somebody's going to ask, I'll tell you where to go to Lost Ways. But Lost Ways makes these. These are paracord, and these are for doubling back and hanging squirrels or rabbits or other small game on it. Make a choke loop. Well, this could go easily onto the strap, see, and be utilized kind of like a fish stringer for me to carry my small game in the field, and then when I get back to camp, be able to take it off of here, take it over here and process and etc., and not have to have it as a permanent modification. But with that big loop, it slides onto the strap. Here's a pouch that I got from Campcraft that has a belt loop on it, so it can slide sideways. Remember that notebook? You could do this with a little short pencil or something in it. It's also a narrow pouch, so you could put flint and steel or some other fire starting little micro kit in it. And this thing has a loop at the top where you could run a carabiner to it, or a soft shackle you make yourself to be able to attach it. But the point being is, it would easily attach to the outside of a haversack and give me quick access, but not permanently modify my haversack. And of course that goes for other pieces of gear, such as, how about matches or a lighter. With this long loop that I've got on it, I can easily go under, thread it back through itself, pull it, and it will cinch up and hang there for quick access. And yet it's very easy for me to pull that loop and take it back off to store it. I also have about a big old hunk of fat wood for a quick grab. That could be on the back side of my haversack, where I could, on the back part hanging back here, for a quick grab where I could shave stuff off without taking the haversack off. And those speed competitions and things like that of challenges, having one of these already attached with a carabiner that I could just swing it out, utilize it to make it right quick, and drop it and know it didn't fall away, it's just going to get out of my way, might be an advantage. And then let's talk about this for a second. And this is the way, let me adjust the camera so I can show you better. Okay, I made my haversacks so that whenever you tuck it behind the hip and you lean forward, it doesn't automatically fall to the front. But that has a lot to do with how much friction the strap has with the clothing you're wearing, how your butt shape, your body, and everything else. And so if you don't want it to go forward, I needed to I'm doing some stuff and I want to be able to take it on and off easy, but I don't want it to swing up so easy. Make yourself a lanyard of some kind. Now all this is one of my lanyards like I make to go into my pocket knives and stuff like that. Come to the strap that's going to be on your back, go through, and all that is a square braid out of paracord. Okay, you can look up online. This is a super simple thing to create and make you a lanyard this way. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn around. I'm going to take that fob and I would simply tuck it through my belt, just like that. That fob would act like an anchor, and now I can twist, I can turn, I can do whatever, and it's going to stay in place. At the same time, I can reach back and just pull out that fob and be able to take my haversack off. See, that square braid would go underneath my belt and give it just enough tension to hold it in place, and yet me not have to take something off. I know that in one of Dave Canterbury's videos, he talks about securing a haversack by running his belt through the back loop, and that works. But my thing is, then I got to take my belt off in order to take my haversack off. So I like to be able to just put a little quick thing like that. I could put a carabiner and hook it to a belt loop back that, going from that back strap, that'll work as well. But a simple little, lanyard like that I can take on and off makes a simple modification. And that's the whole thing. Simple is usually useful. And finally, let's talk about internally. Those of you that follow my channel real regular will remember that, about a year ago, probably a bit more now, I talked about and did a little video where I talked about that I got on the inside right there, and on that seam, see, I sewed that little bitty loop to my fingers in right there. This is because I wanted to place on the inside where I could anchor my car keys. I have heart issues, as you know, and the doctor wants me to keep my nitro close at hand. So being able to clip it in there, know exactly where it is when I run my hand into that haversack. I ain't got to dig for it. It's not going to be in the bottom. I know it's going to be on the far right hand side, halfway down. I'm going to hit that and be able to pull it out. See? This also allows me to take my belt clip, little WC Mini will fit on that, and that will put that Mini just like that underneath the flap for quick access if I want to use it as a backup blade on a camp out. Simple little modification. Now, I believe it was Jake Trent. He sent me a thing saying he'd done this modification. But what he had done was he'd gone in there and added either a clip or a ring. And it'd be very simple to do, to go get a clip and sew it in. Or I would prefer, to be honest with you, go get a car key ring, one of the car key rings, and sew it in so that I have a metal thing I could click to pretty reliably with the carabiner or something else to hook to. But I would put my gear in a specific place in the haversack that I could repeatedly reach for and know exactly where it was going to be. All in all, in conclusion, it's your gear. Make it fit you. The very reason my haversack evolved was I took the haversacks that were available to me in living history. And I did live in history for 25 years. And believe me when I tell you, many of them out there may be historically accurate, but they aren't really that good a haversack when you're using it. And we were doing this a lot back in them days. And so I was carrying a haversack in my gear a lot in the field. And every time there was something missing, I made a mental note until eventually I made my own. In the living history, which was doing French and Indian War time period reenacting, you're very limited with what you can do. It has to be historically accurate materials, and it's got to be created the way they did it. You can't use modern materials. You can't have a nylon strap, It's got to be woven or leather or whatever. And so once that removed that limitation, that's where the Blackbird and later the Red Hawk haversacks came from. All the improvements that I wanted to make and I thought would be a better haversack in the field. But I am not the end all be all. It is not, hey, all hail Blackie said this. This works for me. And for several thousand of you now, I think we're approaching 4,000 or broke 4,000, have bought my haversacks, and I've heard really good reviews from all of you that you've enjoyed the haversack. So that's very heartwarming to me to realize that I had thought it out well. But that doesn't mean it can't be improved. If you want a little thing up here to be able to put pins and stuff into for whatever, do it. I want my knife to attach to the side, do it. I want my knife to go diagonal on the back, do it. I want a holster that fits it so I can carry my snake gun out here in the field, do it. It's yours. Go ahead and put the stuff on it. And like the things I just showed you, I add a lot of stuff to mine depending on the situation. What are we going to do? And I will mix and match gear to fit the strap, to fit inside, to fit outside, to hook it up here on the yoke, whatever, to make it work better for this event, this outing, this afternoon, this fishing trip, whatever. Do the same. Don't ever be afraid to modify your gear. That's how we learn. And that's how you make it unique. And who knows, you may come up with a better mousetrap than I did. I hope you do. Till next time, guys, I'm Blackie wishing you safe journeys. Have a great day, guys.